Clara signed the surrogacy contract not out of greed, but out of necessity and a desire to give another family the joy she couldn't afford herself. Her life was chaotic. The stability offered by the generous fee was her only option to save her family's home. Elias Thorne, the father, was a formidable, controlled man, a billionaire who needed an heir but insisted on absolute distance. He saw Clara as a vessel, and their interactions were clinical. "You are carrying my legacy, Clara," he stated, his voice devoid of warmth. "Your health is paramount, but our relationship is strictly business." Clara maintained her composure, hiding the immense emotional toll the process took. At the first mandatory scan, the doctor's voice held a note of surprise. "Mr. Thorne? Ms. Reed, it looks like you aren't having one baby." Clara looked at Elias, whose dark eyes were unreadable, as the doctor delivered the first stunning twist. "It's twins." Elias's perfect mask shattered for a terrifying second, replaced by a shock that mirrored Clara's own internal panic. The complication had just doubled.
The news of twins instantly complicated the contract and amplified the tension between them. Elias immediately demanded stricter protocols, his obsession with control intensifying. "This changes everything, Clara. 2 lives are entirely dependent on us. You will move into the penthouse immediately." Clara resisted, terrified of losing her independence, but the legal terms of the contract, which granted Elias absolute authority over the pregnancy's safety, made refusal impossible. She moved into his sterile, opulent world, feeling like a high-value asset under guard. Elias maintained their physical distance, but the psychological proximity was constant. He wasn't arrogant, he was profoundly afraid, driven by a desperate, palpable longing for a family he thought he could control. Clara started noticing the small, human cracks in his armor, the way he nervously rubbed his thumb over the ultrasound images late at night, and the genuine fear in his eyes when she felt a dizzy spell. He was trying to control the outcome because he was terrified of loss, and Clara realized the contract might protect the babies, but it wouldn't protect her heart from the deeply vulnerable man beneath the billionaire facade. Living under Elias's roof, Clara saw the man he was behind the corporate persona. He was meticulous, yes, but also deeply kind to his staff and surprisingly gentle when discussing the babies. He started joining her for late-night meals, discussing not business, but the practical human fears of parenthood. "Do you think they will look like me?" he asked one evening, his voice tinged with a raw, hopeful insecurity. Clara smiled, realizing his fear was not of the responsibility, but of the connection. The physical separation remained absolute, a tribute to their agreement, but the emotional boundaries were dissolving daily. The turning point came when Claire was overwhelmed with sudden, unexpected morning sickness. Elias rushed to her side, his expensive suit forgotten, holding her hair back and rubbing her back with a touch that was purely instinctual, tender and non-contractual. "I hate seeing you suffer," he murmured, his face close to hers. The proximity was devastating, fueled by mutual tenderness. In that moment of shared, undignified vulnerability, the line between surrogate and wife blurred irrevocably. The undeniable attraction grew into intense, palpable tension. Their conversations drifted into dangerously personal territory, filled with lingering glances and shared silence. Clara often found Elias watching her, his dark eyes filled with an intensity that spoke volumes about his suppressed desire. One afternoon, while reviewing a nursery layout, their hands brushed over the plans. Elias didn't pull away immediately, his fingers gently interlaced with hers. "I look at you, Clara," he confessed, his voice a low, rough whisper, "and I see the mother of my children. I see the heart I should have asked for, not just the service I paid for." The shock of his raw honesty made Clara's breath catch. He didn't move to kiss her, but the emotional commitment in his gaze was a devastating, irrevocable claim. Clara knew she should be horrified. This violated every term of their legal agreement, but her own heart was betraying her, echoing his longing. She felt a fierce, protective love for this vulnerable, controlled man. Their eyes held, and the contract officially ceased to matter. The passion was real, terrifying, and just barely contained by Elias's profound self-control. The emotional breakthrough was immediately threatened by the outside world. Elias's estranged corporate rival, Julian Sterling, the heir who stood to gain if Elias remained single and heirless, cornered Clara at a required charity gala.
"So, you're the vessel," Julian sneered. "A pretty surrogate playing dress-up. Don't think for a minute you'll keep them. Elias will pay you off and discard you the minute the delivery room door swings shut." His cruelty was precise. Clara, fueled by sudden maternal and protective fury for Elias, defended their arrangement fiercely. "I am carrying his family, and he is a good man." Julian laughed. "He is a man of contracts, Elissa, and you are a temporary service provider, nothing more." Later, Elias found Clara near tears. He pulled her into a quiet alcove, his posture instantly aggressive and protective. "I should have warned you. Julian is the real threat. He needs to prove I am unstable so he can seize power. He cannot know about the twins or how close we've become." The external pressure solidified their secret alliance. They were no longer fighting a custody battle. They were fighting a corporate enemy who intended to use Clara's temporary status to destroy Elias. The need to protect Elias and the babies became Clara's primary motivation. She worked side by side with Elias, using her emotional intuition to anticipate Julian's attacks. One evening, after successfully blocking Julian's hostile takeover attempt, the relief was overwhelming. Elias looked at Clara, his face softened by victory and love. "We won," he murmured, his hands gently cupping her face. "Because of you." The gratitude was honest. Clara knew the only way to permanently stop Julian was to remove the temporary clause from their arrangement. She initiated the intimacy, pulling Elias toward her, the action fueled by protective love and fierce commitment. The kiss was no longer restrained. It was a desperate, consuming convergence of truth and love. They retreated to the master suite, the intimacy shedding the last vestiges of their contract. The passion was fierce, tender, and utterly irreversible, sealing their commitment against the world's threats. In the quiet aftermath, Elias confessed the truth. He hadn't planned to let her go at all. He had been terrified of making the move and losing her and the children before the contract expired.
The morning after their commitment, Elias held Clara tightly. He confessed that his coldness and professional distance were merely a desperate attempt to protect her from his feelings. "I loved you from the day you signed the contract, Clara," he admitted, his voice thick with raw emotion. "I saw your desperation to save your family, and I realized you were the honest, good heart I needed. I didn't hire a surrogate, I hired a wife, but I didn't know how to tell you without ruining the contract." He revealed he had intended to propose to her the day after the contract expired, hoping her debt would be repaid and she would choose him freely. Clara, overwhelmed by the depth of his secret protective love, confessed her own feelings. "I fell in love with the vulnerable man who talked to the babies at night, not the cold CEO." The shared vulnerability was absolute. Elias pulled out a new document, not a contract, but a simple marriage proposal, dated the day he moved her into the penthouse. He had been planning this life for months. The only thing standing in their way now was the impending birth and Julian's final, desperate attempt to strike. Julian, realizing he was losing control, launched a final, cruel attack. He leaked information to the press, exposing the entire surrogacy arrangement, painting Clara as a gold digger and Elias as a controlling despot. The media frenzy was immediate and vicious, threatening to ruin Elias's reputation and potentially harm Clara's health. Elias immediately locked down the penthouse, his protective instincts surging. "We fight this together, Clara," he vowed. "We use the truth." He brought his best lawyers to the penthouse, and Clara sat beside him, calm and resolute. They decided to strike back with absolute honesty. They would release a joint statement confirming the surrogacy, the love they found, and the fact that they were expecting twins, daring Julian to challenge their stability. The shared public fight cemented their bond, proving to the world and to themselves that their marriage, though unconventional, was built on a foundation of fierce, protective love and honesty.
The media storm was still raging when Clara went into labor, fast, sudden, and early. Elias's composure finally broke. He rushed her to the hospital, his fear of losing her and the children overwhelming. In the delivery room, Elias, the controlled CEO, was transformed into a nervous, loving wreck, refusing to leave Clara's side. He cut the cord, tears streaming down his face as he held his 2 newborn sons for the first time. The sight of Elias holding their twins, his face a landscape of overwhelming love and gratitude, washed away all the shame and contractual memories. The medical team confirmed the babies were healthy. The room was filled with the powerful, profound love of a family finally formed, conquering the lies, the contracts, and the cold business world. The final complication was solved. Elias didn't get 1 heir, he got 2. The merger closed successfully, and Julian, defeated by Elias's public honesty and the undeniable reality of his family, retreated. Elias immediately tore up all remaining documents. He placed a genuine wedding band on Clara's finger. Simple and perfect. "I bought the opportunity to know you," he confessed, "but you gave me everything else." They married quietly, their love story a testament to unconventional beginnings and absolute commitment. Elias dedicated his life to humane ventures, founding a foundation to help women like Clara. They spent their lives building a home filled with the chaos and joy of twin boys, proving that the greatest treasures are the complications you never accounted for.
Which part of the plot, the twins' reveal, Julian's sabotage, or Elias's secret marriage proposal, gave you the most suspense? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want more dramatic twists, protective heroes, and emotional family stories, please like this video and subscribe for more videos like this.